personnel that are present. I want to echo what Commissioner DeRee said. But first of all, Commissioner DeRee, thanks for, again, hosting this year this important ceremony, as you noted. And also thanks to all the family members who are represented here and those who weren't able to make it as well. Thank you for your sacrifice as these public servants continue to do the wonders that they do. Also, thanks to Secretary Tong, the GovOps team, and the CalHR team specifically. I see several CalHR folks all over the house, the room today. So thanks to the team CalHR as well. And finally, to Governor Newsom, the message that we just heard, and Cabinet Secretary Ann Patterson, for the leadership that they provide to all of us in state government, the inspiration they provide to us to do the work that we do. So, good afternoon again. I am very proud to be a part of today's ceremony as we honor our state heroes. Our first department is the California Department of Transportation, more commonly known as Caltrans. Assisting me on the stage today is our Caltrans director, Tony Tavares. Tony, please give him a hand. So, the first citation for a heroic service performed by David Ray Sumaya. Yeah. Caltrans Electrician 2. And I'll read briefly some of the great work that David Ray has done. On February 23rd, 2023, at approximately 12:30 a.m., Caltrans Electrician 2, David Ray Sumaya, and the rest of the Caltrans District 7 Commerce Night Electric crew responded to a report of flooding in northbound travel lanes where Interstate 5 freeway passes under Laurel Canyon Boulevard and Sheldon Street. The low-lying stretch in Los Angeles, Sun Valley relies on pumps to clear stormwater, but on this night, power was out due to a large storm. It was raining so hard that trees were falling, said Crew Chief Saul Rodriguez. It was chaos. Reports would later call the storm one of the strongest to hit Southern California in recent memory. Soon, a half dozen cars stalled in deepening waters. One compact vehicle became submerged with its headlamps strangely illuminating the muddy waters in the darkness. Mr. Sumaya and co-worker Mr. Oscar Mora saw two frightened travelers trapped inside the vehicle. They were panicking. The water was coming in so fast, said Chief Rodriguez. Without hesitation, Mr. Sumaya strode into the waist-deep water and heroically carried a young woman out of the vehicle and 50 feet to the side of the freeway. He then went back in and rescued the other female occupant from the vehicle. Mr. Mora aided by keeping watch, ready to assist as well. The two women were soon safe on an overpass with other vehicle motorists, some of who were rescued by the California Highway Patrol as well. Officers were present. With the rest of the Commerce Night Electric crew, Mr. Sumaya worked past his 5:30 a.m. shift to configure the two diesel power pumps needed to clear the floodwaters. The state of California takes great pride in presenting the Silver Medal of Valor to California Department of Transportation Caltrans Electrician 2 David Ray Sumaya for his heroic service, extending above and beyond the normal call of duty. Please give him a hand. That. Mr. Sumaya, congratulations. Thank you for all your work. Yeah. Unfortunately, the next awardee was unavailable to attend today's ceremony. However, to honor his heroic act, we will still read the citation. Citation for heroic service performed by Danny Dubet, Caltrans Electrician 2 of the California Department of Transportation. Just before noon on February 7th, 2023, Caltrans Electrician 2 Danny Dubet was conducting preventive maintenance work along I-5 in Siskiyou County. While traveling southbound in the Anderson Grade area north of Eureka, Mr. Dubet drove around a corner and encountered a vehicle that had rolled over into the center divider, just off the fog line. Mr. Dubet had to brake suddenly to prevent from hitting the vehicle. He pulled over to assist, where he quickly assessed the woman in the vehicle to ensure she did not have significant life-threatening injuries. He helped pull her from the vehicle with the assistance of another motorist who had stopped to help. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Dubet moved his truck to serve as a barrier to oncoming traffic and contacted dispatch personnel to alert them of the incident. CHP and other emergency personnel soon arrived on the scene. Without Mr. Dubet's quick thinking and selfless action, this situation could have been more dire. The location of the flipped vehicle was very close to fast-moving interstate traffic and on a blind corner, and the possibility of another vehicle colliding with the involved vehicle. With the assistance of the other motorist, Mr. Dubet helped secure the scene and helped the woman move to safety before emergency personnel arrived. While Mr. Dubet did not have any noted effects from the incident and the woman in the vehicle escaped with minor abrasions, the incident could have turned out far worse without his brave, heroic service. Therefore, the state of California takes great pride in presenting the Silver Medal of Valor to California Department of Transportation Electrician 2, Danny Dubet, for his heroic service extending beyond and above the normal call of duty. Please give Mr. Danny Dubet a hand. Thank you, Mr. Dubet, for your heroic work. Next, a citation for heroic service performed by Michael Butner and Gonzalo Garcia. Yeah, give him a hand. Caltrans tree maintenance worker and Caltrans tree maintenance lead worker, both of them in their responsibilities. On the night of February 23rd, 2023, around 11 p.m., heavy snow and gusting winds were blowing through the sections of Highway 101 in northern Mendocino County, near Confusion Hill. It was one of the largest snowfalls in recent history for the area. Trees and power lines were falling and vehicles were disabled along the right-of-way due to the dangerous icy conditions and debris in the roadway. During an extended shift, attempting to clear trees from the travelway, tree maintenance lead worker Michael Butner and tree maintenance worker Gonzalo Garcia encountered a couple who were traveling in their RV. The RV was unable to safely make it out of the area due to low-hanging branches, downed trees, power lines, and other disabled vehicles. During a conversation, the couple stated to Mr. Butner and Mr. Garcia that they were planning to sleep in the RV until the morning in hopes the highway would be passable. After hearing this, both Mr. Butner and Mr. Garcia became concerned for the couple's safety as trees were actively uprooting and falling in close proximity to their RV. Due to the inclement weather and snow load, they explained to the couple that their RV was under a tree that looked susceptible to failure and pleaded for them to take their tow behind vehicle and leave the area to safety. The couple, they were extremely reluctant to leave their belongings, but were eventually convinced that getting out of the area was the securest idea. Outside in the harsh weather conditions, Mr. Butner and Mr. Garcia assisted the couple in unhooking their vehicle from the RV, loading up their important belongings, physically pushing the two-wheel drive vehicle to help it gain traction, and escorting them out of the area into a safe location. About an hour and a half after Mr. Butner and Mr. Garcia accompanied the couple out of the area, the large tree above their RV fell and crashed through the RV, destroying it completely. The living room, kitchen, and bathroom were all completely flattened under the weight of the tree. Had the couple not been convinced to leave, they could have suffered severe injuries or even possibly death. Mr. Butner and Mr. Garcia could have gone about their normal duties working to open the highway, but instead, they went out of their way, risking their own safety to ensure the couple was out of harm's way. From convincing them to leave, physically helping them unhitch their vehicle, and escorting them to safety, Mr. Butner and Mr. Garcia went above the call of duty. The couple called the next day and left a voicemail on the phone of Mr. Butner, thanking them both for their service and for caring enough to help them out of a dangerous situation. Mr. Butner and Mr. Garcia's situational awareness and concern for this couple's safety was outstanding. Their professional knowledge and thoughtfulness of the possible outcomes resulted in lives saved or severe injury possibly avoided. Therefore, the state of California takes great pride in presenting the Silver Medal of Valor to California Department of Transportation lead maintenance worker Michael Butner and Caltrans tree maintenance worker Gonzalo Garcia for their heroic service, extending above and beyond the normal call of duty. Mr. Garcia, Mr. Butner, again, thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you. Citation for a heroic service performed by Ken Myers, Bruce Perry, and Daryl Vanyata, Caltrans equipment operators 2s of the California Department of Transportation. Please give him a hand. Yeah. On December 28, 2022, surrounded by mountainous terrain and steep drop-offs, equipment operators 2 Ken Myers was patrolling his area in the Sierras on eastbound I-80 between Drum Forbay Road and Blue Canyon when he spotted smoke just above the exit. Mr. Myers immediately responded to the location and found a vehicle on fire. 5 of the 6 passengers were outside of the car. Some were wandering around while the others were lying on the ground, bloodied and injured. One was almost scalped with severe cuts on his head. With a language barrier impacting communication, Mr. Myers went directly to the door of the vehicle and found the driver trapped and semi-conscious. Flames were quickly rising around and under the vehicle's hood and dash. He hastily grabbed a fire extinguisher from his truck and set to work on putting the flames out. Shortly after, colleagues equipment operators 2's Bruce Perry and Daryl Vanyata arrived on the scene to assist in battling the fire. Their combined efforts kept the fire at bay long enough to allow CAL FIRE to arrive and extinguish the fire before cutting the injured driver out of the car. The heroic acts of these 3 Caltrans employees jumping into harm's way, approaching the burning car, and extinguishing flames while not knowing if the car would explode, were remarkable. The quick action from a trio of Whitmore maintenance crew members is credited for saving the life of the driver. A Placer County Fire Department captain stated that he believes with 100% certainty that if the Caltrans employees were not there providing life-saving efforts, the driver of the vehicle would have perished or suffered life-altering burning injuries. Therefore, the state of California takes great pride in presenting the Silver Medal of Valor to Caltrans equipment operators to Ken Myers, Bruce Perry, and Daryl Venata for their heroic service extending above and beyond the normal call of duties. They have a new nickname. The Whitmore Crew Trio is what you guys are going to start being called now. Give them a hand again. Citation for heroic service performed by Sultan Abassi. Sultan Abassi. Transportation engineer technician. On July 20th, 2023, at 1:40 a.m., transportation engineer technician Sultan Abassi was on his way to a job site for a scheduled concrete pour. Upon entering the southbound Highway 55 east of Dyer Road in Santa Ana, Mr. Abassi noticed the scene of an accident with a badly damaged motorcycle lying in the gore area. While observing the site, he saw a man about 50 feet further south who appeared to be the motorcyclist dressed in all black, lying motionless across the number 4 traffic lane. Mr. Abassi sprang to action, parking the state-issued truck, turning the rotator safety lights on, and immediately calling 911. Being first aid certified and with some medical background, Mr. Abassi detected a faint pulse and checked the unconscious motorcyclist carefully for any major injuries or bleeding without changing his position. He stayed with the motorcyclist, and as he regained consciousness, tried to keep him calm while assuring him help was on the way. About 20 minutes later, still waiting for first responders, the motorcyclist began to roll from being face down onto his side. It was then that Mr. Abassi saw the man's face was purple. His helmet strap had been tightened under his chin, and it was choking him. Mr. Abassi rapidly loosened the strap, and the motorcyclist started to breathe, his face color changing back to normal. However, he could not talk due to his facial and mouth injuries. While waiting for emergency response to arrive, the 911 dispatcher recommended Mr. Abassi leave the scene as it was unsafe for him to remain there in the lane. But he refused and persisted in providing aid to the motorcyclist. CHP arrived on the scene, closing all southbound lanes while the first responders provided additional care. Therefore, the state of California takes great pride in presenting the Silver Medal of Valor to Caltrans engineer technician Sultan Abassi for his heroic service extending above and beyond the normal call of duty. Mr. Abassi. Thank you, Mr. Abassi. Thank you. Citation for a heroic act performed by Jeffrey Clute, Caltrans Bridge Maintenance Supervisor. Mr. Clute, you're not allowed to have a cheering section. On July 7th, 2023, while Caltrans Bridge Maintenance Supervisor Jeffrey Clute was on his way home from work, he noticed an erratic driver behind him swerving through traffic, eventually veering from the number 3 lane across the number 4 lane, through the paved shoulder, and down an embankment. Supervisor Clute called the dispatch center in Oakland and circled back around to check on the vehicle's occupants. Upon arrival, Supervisor Clute confirmed the vehicle went off the road at a high rate of speed, causing it to roll down a berm, hitting a tree before stopping on its side where the engine was now emitting smoke. Supervisor Clute grabbed his fire extinguisher and rushed down the embankment along with 2 other Good Samaritans. They found the driver incoherent and hanging from his seatbelt. Supervisor Clute emptied his fire extinguisher into the motor compartment, while the Good Samaritans broke out the rear window. The fire grew in the motor compartment. Meanwhile, the driver was still incoherent. This all happened quickly, and emergency crews were not on the scene, nor could they be heard en route. Unconcerned for their own safety, Supervisor Clute and the Good Samaritans started to kick in the windshield to gain access while the vehicle flames continued to engulf the engine compartment. Soon after, they were able to gain access to the interior of the car. Supervisor Clute crawled through the windshield, opening and unlocking the driver's seatbelt. The still incoherent driver fell to the bottom of the car. Supervisor Clute and the Good Samaritans struggled to pull him from the wreck and were ultimately able to pull him out just as the vehicle became fully consumed in flames. The driver began to speak as emergency personnel arrived. Thankfully, Supervisor Clute was not seriously injured, but he did receive minor burns on the tips of his fingers. When asked, "Why didn't you wait for the fire department?" Supervisor Clute responded, "I was not going to leave the driver in there to burn up. There was no way the fire department would have made it in time, and I wasn't leaving without him." Supervisor Clute embodies the caliber of an employee we all wish to find. Devoted, reliable, fair, hardworking, and committed to leading by example. Therefore, the state of California takes great pride in presenting the Gold Medal of Valor to California Department of Transportation Bridge Maintenance Supervisor Jeffrey Clute for his extraordinary act of heroism extending far above and beyond the normal call of duty.
They thought.
Thank you, Supervisor Clute. So this concludes all the awards for Caltrans at this time. I'll be back in a little bit. Thank you, Director Tavares. Thank you. And Cabinet Secretary as well.